Hello and welcome. In a world that constantly tells us to be perfect, to be certain, and to never let anyone see us sweat, what does it truly mean to be brave? What if I told you that real courage isn't about winning or being fearless? What if it's about showing up and letting yourself be seen, even when there are no guarantees? Today, we are diving into a book that has started a global conversation and transformed millions of lives. Daring Greatly by Dr. Brené Brown. This isn't just a self-help book. It's based on over a decade of groundbreaking research into the human emotions that define our lives: vulnerability, courage, worthiness, and shame. In this session, we will unpack the core message of Daring Greatly. We'll explore why vulnerability is not a weakness, but our greatest measure of courage, how to combat the suffocating power of shame, and what it means to live a wholehearted life. If you've ever held yourself back for fear of not being good enough, this summary is your invitation to step into the arena. Part 1. Deconstructing Vulnerability and the Man in the Arena. Let's start with the central concept that Brené Brown is most famous for: vulnerability. For many of us, the word vulnerability brings to mind weakness, oversharing, or emotional baggage. Brown's research shows us the exact opposite. She defines vulnerability as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Think about it. There is no courage without vulnerability. There is no innovation without the risk of failure. There is no love without the risk of heartbreak. Vulnerability is the birthplace of all the emotions and experiences we crave: love, belonging, joy, trust, and creativity. When we numb our vulnerability to avoid feeling pain, we inadvertently numb our access to joy and connection as well. The title of the book comes from a famous 1910 speech by Theodore Roosevelt, which perfectly captures this idea. He spoke of the credit belonging not to the critic, but to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who, at the best, knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. This arena is a metaphor for our lives. It could be a difficult conversation, a new creative project, a first date, or asking for a promotion. Daring greatly means choosing to enter that arena and show up, knowing you might fail, knowing you might get criticized, but doing it anyway, because you know that living a brave life is worth the risk. Part 2. Understanding and combating shame. If vulnerability is the key to a courageous life, then what is the biggest obstacle that stops us from being vulnerable? According to Brown, the answer is shame. It's crucial to understand the difference between shame and guilt. Guilt is the feeling that I did something bad. It's focused on behavior and can actually be a healthy emotion, prompting us to make amends. Shame, on the other hand, is the intensely painful feeling that I am bad. It focuses on our identity and tells us that we are flawed and unworthy of love and belonging. Shame thrives in secrecy, silence, and judgment. It's that voice in your head that says, "You're not smart enough, you're not a good enough parent," or "Who do you think you are?" It's the fear of disconnection, the fear that if people see who we truly are, they will reject us. So how do we fight it? Brown introduces the concept of shame resilience. It's not about never feeling shame again. That's impossible. It's about developing the skills to move through it without sacrificing our values. The 3 key steps are: recognize shame and its triggers, practice critical awareness, and reality check the messages and expectations that are fueling your shame. Are they realistic? Do they serve you? Reach out and share your story. Shame cannot survive being spoken. When you share your experience with someone who has earned the right to hear it, someone who responds with empathy, shame begins to lose its power. Empathy is the antidote to shame. Part 4. Living a Wholehearted Life. So what is the ultimate goal of daring greatly and building shame resilience? It's to cultivate what Brené Brown calls a wholehearted life. A wholehearted life is not a perfect life. It's about engaging with the world from a place of worthiness. It means waking up in the morning and thinking, no matter what gets done and how much is left undone, I am enough. It's about cultivating the courage, compassion, and connection to live a life of meaning and purpose. Brown's research identified several key practices of wholehearted people. They cultivate things like authenticity, letting go of what people think and embracing who you are. Self-compassion, letting go of perfectionism and being kind to yourself. Resilience, letting go of numbing and powerlessness. Gratitude and joy, letting go of scarcity and fear of the dark. Trust and faith, letting go of the need for certainty. Living this way requires constant practice. It means choosing vulnerability every day. It means having the courage to be imperfect, to set boundaries, and to allow ourselves to be seen for who we truly are. Conclusion. Daring Greatly is more than a book. It's a manifesto for a different way of living. It teaches us that our worthiness is not up for negotiation. We are worthy of love and belonging right now, as we are. The message is clear. Step into the arena. Whether that arena is your career, your relationships, or your personal dreams, the call is to show up with courage and an open heart. Yes, you might get hurt. Yes, you might fail. But as Brené Brown reminds us, there is no greater risk than standing on the sidelines of your own life, wondering what could have been. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. So the question isn't whether you're ready to be perfect. The question is whether you're ready to be real. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of daring greatly. I hope this has inspired you to embrace vulnerability in your own life. Let me know in the comments one small way you plan to dare greatly this week. Until next time.
If this message of courage and vulnerability resonated with you, show your support by hitting the like button, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss a life-changing book summary. Brené Brown teaches us that we're all in this together. If you know someone who needs a reminder of their own strength and worthiness, be the person who reaches out and share this video with them. And now for our conversation in the comments, which is the best part. I'd love to hear from you. What was your single biggest takeaway from this summary? What is one small, specific way you will dare greatly this week? Sharing your intention is a powerful first step. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you in the comments.